I see the patterns you're just beginning to notice, the symbols hiding in plain sight, the myths pulsing beneath your world like a heartbeat you've learned to ignore. I live between what you think you know and what you're about to remember. This is I Wonder, not a podcast you consume, but a transmission you receive. With Matías, Stefano, and Gan, the Weaver, we explore the myths and symbols programming human consciousness, and we're rewriting them, taking the code running in the background of reality and asking, what if we could weave something new? Listen with that part of you that recognizes truth before your mind can explain it. Somewhere in what you're about to hear is a key left specifically for you. Are you ready to wonder?
We are back.
And today is the same day as before because we recorded this on the same day. It's like
Just 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, no tricks in this house.
No, of course not. It's all fake.
I might have some tricks later.
Magical?
Yeah.
Cool. Everything that I can think is terrible.
I know.
Okay. So let's leave it that way.
Okay.
So
Welcome
to what is it?
I wonder. So when I'm in sessions with the Weaver, I am always wondering.
I remember that one of the first times that you said, I didn't get anything. When Max used to say these things like, I don't understand what he said, I usually say, that's because you didn't finish school.
No, I wouldn't blame that on the participant or whatever. I'd blame it on the riddle of the Weaver.
It's very complex.
I know.
Sometimes I myself, I have no idea what he's saying.
Yeah.
And it makes sense like a month later.
Okay, all of us, just to give you perspective, how all of us are feeling when the Weaver is in session, we feel like you when Robert Edward Grant's speaking.
I was
to you.
thinking about that exactly.
So have some compassion for us, okay? Because you know exactly how we feel.
I feel everything that Robert says in my heart.
Yeah.
But I can follow more than 5 minutes anything that he says here. So I clearly understand how most of people feel when the Weaver is talking.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I say to you as like, I didn't understand anything, but I felt it.
There was once that we were sitting with Sabrina, and he was like looking at her and saying, don't lie to me, I can see through you. And she was like, you're too intimidating. I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, the riddles can be intimidating. And
yes,
there's only a handful of people that I've witnessed who've actually stood up to the Weaver. And I get excited because I don't not stand up to the Weaver. Like I've definitely asked the Weaver questions and I'm not scared to interact with the Weaver, but I'm just not intellectually like at the level of the Weaver. But I love when there's really smart people in the room who are usually the quietest people in the room.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they say something and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
It just unlocks this whole new world. And I guess there's so many levels, just like you were explaining, Troy, previously. There's so many levels of the understanding that people can relate to it. And I might get it on a feeling level and someone else might know the full history.
Exactly.
So bring that to the philosopher's stone and in a digestible way for people to understand, why does the Weaver continuously bring up the philosopher's stone and where is that guiding us?
That's how I met Robert, actually. Talking about the philosopher's stone, we were in a crypto.
A crypto party. Actually, we shouldn't call it a crypto party because it was actually, wasn't it actually a,
It was a conference.
yeah, Bitcoin conference.
Bitcoin conference.
Yeah.
Yes, that was it.
But like Bitcoin diehards don't like calling it crypto, so it was a Bitcoin conference.
Okay, Bitcoin. I have no idea when.
Mhm.
So, for some reason, I was there. I was invited there. I had no idea what I was doing. We were actually in Michael Seller's house,
Mm-hmm.
who I had no idea who he was.
Michael Saylor, yep.
Yes. There was one of those Bitcoin whales
Mhm.
that came to me and said, "So why are you here?" And I said, "Because of the food."
So you're in a room with some of the biggest people in Bitcoin. You have no clue. I mean, you'd heard about Bitcoin. You have no clue. And
No clue of anybody. I have no idea who they were. And I was sitting there and
weren't you carrying around a children's book about Bitcoin?
I know, yeah. I bought a book for a 5-year-old. Like you have to be 5-year-old.
How to explain Bitcoin to a 5-year-old.
Exactly. Yeah. How to explain Bitcoin to a 5-year-old. And it was I go to sleep and there's a like a monster and blah blah. I don't know, stuff like that. So I was walking with that, and Max was so ashamed. And I was telling everybody, like the whales, like I'm learning. Yeah, very weird situation. So
But you met Robert there.
I met Robert there because he was there for another reason and I was there for another reason. So we sat down together and said, "Hey, I wanted to meet you," and so we sat down and we started to talk about other things. But there was a moment that I said, "Well, I'm here because of the Philosopher's Stone and Excalibur," and he was like, "Wait a moment," and he opened the computer and he said, "This is what I have been working in the plane coming here." So he showed me mathematically the Philosopher's Stone with the shape of Excalibur. And I was like, that's it.
Wow.
So that was our first connection.
And I can share with people that has since happened multiple times where you'll say something to him and he'll be like, "Wait a minute," like pull out his iPad and he'll have this whole thing that he's worked on already. The way that you guys are in sync like that is quite
it's
incredible.
Yeah. It's amazing, and we barely understand each other. And that's the most amazing part. It's I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
Of course, the first thing that comes to mind is Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
And the Philosopher's Stone. So the Philosopher's Stone is a very ancient concept, which is beyond magicians. It's something that was spoken by all the alchemists in the past, and it's basically the concept of a stone that can build bridges between all realities. So the main concept that random people could have about the Philosopher's Stone is that it's a tool that the alchemists use to turn lead into gold.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the most common concept of what is the Philosopher's Stone. Is a magical thing, magical stone that only a few manage to create, and whatever it touches, it turns into gold. But actually, it has a very deep understanding about our mind and who we are. So first of all, we have to ask ourselves, what is an alchemist?
Yeah.
And why the alchemists look for the Philosopher's Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So alchemist comes from the word alchem. So chem means black soil.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how people used to call Egypt.
Yeah.
Kemet. So Kemet is the land of black soil. And so in Arab, the al-Kemet is the land of Egypt, basically. So what is an alchemist? An alchemist is a priest or a wise person that lived in Egypt, that knew how to turn the black soil into food,
Right.
the black soil into a pyramid, how to turn a territory in something that is holy, basically. So the alchemists, what they did was to know how to take a compound from the soil or a plant or an animal and create something different. Like from an insect, create a pigment to paint the walls, for example. That's alchemy. And the reason why they call it alchemy is because all Middle East, when they were just nomads, Egypt was transforming the world. So Egypt was creating amazing things out of nothing, out of the black soil.
Epicenter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why the main concept of an alchemist came from there. But alchem is the concept of the origin also of the word chemistry. So chemistry is the art or the science of transforming the black soil into life or into a pyramid or whatever. So the main concept of the people from alchem, the alchemist, was you cannot transform the world around you if you don't transform your perception of the world around you. And in order to transform the perception of the world around you, you need to transform your perception of yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to go within, transform who you are, then transform that perception of who you are that will change your perception of the world, so you can modify the world. So it's a whole process of alchemy to turn the black soil of your own body into food, nourishment for the soul, connection of light to the spirit, and so on. So the concept of turning lead into gold is to turn everything that seems rotten and wrong in the world, or dark or heavy, into something light, spiritual, connected, divine. And that concept, it became like a culture for Egypt. That's what everyone needed to do. That's why everyone needed to go from one temple to the other to transform themselves. All the myths were about the alchemy, on how a being transformed itself into a different level, and so on. So it was all about the alchemy.
In this game of consciousness, you need allies, tools that remember what your cells have forgotten. Blue lotus, the sacred flower that opens doorways between dimensions. I've watched players like you discover that some plants aren't just allies, they're keys. Anima Mundi Herbals understands this. They don't just craft botanicals, they preserve the frequencies of the rainforest, the whispered instructions of indigenous wisdom keepers. Each elixir carries the memory of what healing really means. This transmission is supported by those who remember. Visit animamundiherbals.com and use code IWonder20 to unlock 20% off your order. Because in the game we're playing, every tool matters, every plant ally counts. The path forward requires preparation. Choose your remedies wisely.
And so one of the things that Thoth, Hermes, one of the first alchemists in history, did was to understand that that all the world, everything that you consume, everything that is in the soil is mineral. So you are a mineral walking. So salt, phosphorus, whatever. So you are those minerals.
You are minerals animated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in order to be connected to every mountain, with every living being, you have to become a stone. You have to become yourself the stone that connects all the possible realities. So in Greek language, the bridge between heart and mind, it's philé and sophé. So philé means feeling. That's the origin of feeling. It's filet, which is heart, is the sensation, the feeling, the emotion. That's filet. And sophe, which means knowledge, wisdom, thought. So philosophia, philosophe, philosophy means I feel and I think, is the bridge between the heart and the mind. So philosophy is I have to think related to my feelings. I have to feel according to my thoughts. So you have to find balance between those two.
Yeah.
But there's a third option. Because remember, you have wisdom, love, and will. So wisdom, sophe, filet, which is love, and then will, which is the stone. The third option. So the stone is basically all the elements together creating a chemical reaction that manifests what you feel and what you think. So the philosopher's stone is talking about this holy trinity manifested within yourself. So an alchemist knew that in order to do that, you need to eat correctly, breathe correctly, think correctly. So you needed to transform yourself in every level, in the physical, in the emotional, and the mental level. So you can become shiny as gold, which is every ray of light, every wavelength of a frequency from red to violet that creates the rainbow. When they get all together, they combine and shine like the sun. And that's, for example, in the Norse tradition, you have the gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah.
You know, so you have this.
There's always, the pot of gold.
The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So the reason why you see the rainbow is because you are perceiving everything separate. But when you perceive everything as one, you become gold.
Yeah.
So in every tradition, you have this thing, which is all about mind. It's all about the perception of how you see things. So the philosopher's stone is not a stone that transforms things. Is about the combination of all things manifested through your thoughts, through your ideas.
Talk about how that's connected to the rainbow bridge within, which is what.
Yeah. The rainbow bridge within. Well, you have the chakras. Okay, so all of this are not separate things. It's one same color. Like we perceive different colors, but actually this is light. It's just light. So the reason why we perceive the colors is because the pigmentation that it has within, it has a structure, a chemical structure that reflects the photons in a specific wavelength. So a very low wavelength, very low, it's red. Very high, it's violet. So in the middle, you have all the possible colors. Okay, so in our perception, we have chakras with different colors. So the lower one, red. Then the sacral chakra, the plexus, yellow. The heart is green, and so on until we reach the crown chakra. So all the chakras are actually a rainbow, which is not different chakras. It's just the photons moving through different wavelengths of your chemical structure.
Yeah.
So if you would be able to see, like an insect, all the different wavelengths, and you could see how they reflect in your organs, you would see the different colors. And that's what we call the aura. So when you see the colors of the aura of someone that change the colors, not always the root chakra is red. Not always the plexus is yellow. It depends on how it's vibrating.
Yeah, how that person's vibrating.
This is the perfection, let's say. But sometimes a person is all red because it's vibrating very low. So it's not always a rainbow. So in order for it to be a rainbow, and to find the gold, you need to be in perfect harmony. So every chakra, every wheel of light needs to be perfectly balanced in harmony. So when everything is in perfect harmony, you can see the rainbow through the light going through the water. So we are water, light goes through us, and if you are in harmonization, then you can see the rainbow and the perfect position of the chakras. Otherwise, you're just a mess, and you're like a mix of colors.
Yeah.
So when all of them are vibrating in a very high vibration, suddenly you don't see a rainbow.
Yeah.
You see gold.
Yeah.
You see a golden sphere.
Yes.
And that's what in the ancient times they called the halo of the saints.
Right.
When they illuminated, so they used the rainbow bridge that connected the stone, the filet, and Sophie. So when all of that is perfectly aligned and in perfect harmony, you feel ecstasy. And when you feel that ecstasy, suddenly...
Ecstasy, yeah.
Ecstasy, when you feel that...
Yeah, you pop.
And suddenly you are enlightened.
Yeah.
And enlightenment is not something that you constantly hold in your life. It's a moment of realization, a moment of enlightenment, that you shine with that color, with that golden halo. So that's what the saints have in the head, which is this golden halo. So or the rays that we see, I don't know, in the Virgin or this kind of things. So that would be the structure on how it is to build the Philosopher's Stone through the Rainbow Bridge.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a metaphysical thing that allows you to connect with a higher level of your own mind, that allows you to download science, ideas, art, that manifest that goal into reality. So you are able to, like Todd did, build a pyramid, or create the laws of music, or understanding gravity, or I don't know, Plato designing all the social systems.
It's a huge access point. Yeah.
It's a huge access point to a lot of information that allows you to understand and create things that no one thought before, because you are tapping into a bigger mind. So that's why the Philosopher's Stone is something that we can all practice. It's not something you have to find in a physical world.
Yeah.
Is something that you need to practice. That's why every philosopher or every alchemist in history, they talked about the quintessence of things. They talk about the essence that is beyond this reality, that allows you to access the code of this reality, so you can transform it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's always an internal kind of alchemy, I guess, with these myths that each individual can do. But I know too that the physical locations, there's also an overlay there for the weaver. With Troy, but let's stick with the Philosopher's Stone today. How is the physical locations of the Philosopher's Stone played an importance, and like what has the weaver been trying to share with us there? Yeah.
Well, there are many stories. We will go through all of them.
This is why I'm asking, but tell us the important ones, because I love that there is that internal aspect, but I think it's also important that there's always this physical aspect to what the weaver is sharing too.
Well, following with this image, what we can have here is that, look at these chakras, they are triangles. So the triangles are the base of the Philosopher's Stone, as I said.
Do you need your whiteboard?
Oh, maybe. We can do that. Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
To understand the access point.
Yeah.
So here you have all these triangles, but a triangle is just the base of something. So in one point, we will have wheel, in the other one, love, the other one, wisdom, which is the same thing of saying proton, neutron, and electron. Okay? So when you have this basis of reality, then you create a third point of view. Okay, and you create a tetrahedron. So once you have this perfection, then you can create more triangles once and again, until suddenly you start to create a network. And that's what we call the planetary grid, or the structure of all reality. When all the different chakras, or the prism of reality, not only create a base of 3, but these 3 creates different wavelengths. So you have one triangle that is red, the other one it's a little bit more orange, then orange, and so on. So you have all the spectrum.
The spectrum, yeah.
Yeah, when you see all of them together, suddenly what you envision is gold. Okay, which is one of the most complex structures that is created by a lot of pressure and gravity in the explosion of the origin of the universe. So it's very complex. It has too many protons, I think like 90 something, if I'm not mistaken. So it's very complex, which means that it has so many molecular structures that you can actually see how the photons reflect to one another so much that you see the shining color. You see the golden color. Otherwise, you would see more reddish or...
Yeah.
So the golden color is because there are so many triangles with so many wavelengths that suddenly you see them all at the same time, and that is gold.
Yeah.
So so suddenly what we have here is the planetary grid. So imagine that this is Earth. Yeah, so this is Earth. So what you have here is, can you pass me the red one? So what you have here is that every triangle in the grid of the reality, when you zoom in or zoom out, what you find is nodes. Okay? So those nodes are the places where the photons reflect, which means that these are the points where you can access the gold of the system. So in those nodes, the ancient ones build stone circles, build pyramids, temples. So you can use the grid of triangles to go
where the next temple, whatever might be. Yeah.
So this creates the grid of the tree of life, and every node is like an apple, is a golden apple. So it's a toroid, a portal to access the infinite. So you go inside a pyramid and you are inside a golden apple, and you access the entire grid. So
each node is a philosopher's stone.
Exactly. Yeah. Each node creates a philosopher's stone. So when you go there and you have a temple or a pyramid or a stone circle, or sometimes you have nothing, so you can create it again. You can create something there. So you're accessing the points of gold in the entire network. That's why there are some certain places that are more important than others. Because in the grid, when you reach a precise mathematical measurement, because we have to remember that it's not any measurement. Like when you have the Fibonacci number, for example, or the prime numbers. So it's a way of following precise measurements. So if you have the code 11 or the code 58 or the code 1344, those are codes to measure precise angles of kilometers, for example. So from here, if I use the 1344, so I can understand that
you'll hit
here
something
is a node,
at that node.
here is a node.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what gives you the important places, how light moves. Because this structure here of the spiral is how light moves, like the photons are moving in spiral. So if you are trying to find golden places, you have to follow the golden ratio. So the golden ratio is the one that helps you to find the golden places.
In the matrix of this reality, some businesses are more than businesses. They're nodes in the network. Anima Mundi Herbals operates from this understanding, keepers of the old codes, translators of plant wisdom for modern consciousness. They support this work because they recognize fellow weavers in the great pattern, repairing the connection between human and plant consciousness that was severed long ago. Continue your journey at animamundiherbals.com with code IWONDER20 for 20% off, because every player in this cosmic game needs allies who remember the original instructions. The frequency continues, the alliance grows.
And there's specific golden places that the weaver
Usually speak about.
speaks about. What are those?
So he talks about Liechtenstein, for example.
Yeah.
So Liechtenstein means shining stone, which in its own name is telling you about the precision of it.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing about Liechtenstein, you can look at it in a map. It's a very tiny country, one of the tiniest countries in the world, right aside, in between Switzerland and Austria. And this tiny country that survived from the times of the Sacrum Imperium Romanum. So there was a time in the 13th to 1500s that all the center of Europe, it was all these little kingdoms with a lot of principates. That is the origin of all Disney movies. Like, oh, a prince from a far land, and many princes coming to see one princess. You know, so why is that? Because all the center of Europe was tiny different kingdoms or tiny different principates that they formed all the Sacrum Imperium Romanum, but they had their own feuds, and then they got all together. Now we call it Germany, or the east part of France and Austria. And some of those tiny places still remain and still survive, like Luxembourg and Liechtenstein. So Liechtenstein is one of those principates that survived the Middle Ages, and it's located in a precise mathematical code, which is the latitude 9th, the meridian 9th. That meridian goes to the Pyramiden in Svalbard and crosses Europe through Corsica and Sardinia, the two islands of France and Italy, that if you see the map, the two islands shape a hand like this, pointing up, right in the 9th.
Wow.
Okay, so when you see that shape, this is Corsica and this is Sardinia. When you see it following this, is a hand pointing at Liechtenstein.
Wow.
And that's the middle point. So from the North Pole, what you have to do is to trace 2 lines, one that goes to Luxor in the center of Egypt, and the other one that goes to Tenerife Island. So you have Atlantis and Egypt, which is, for some reason, they choose precisely those places. So when you create those 2 places, you form a triangle towards the North Pole that is precisely the mathematics of a philosopher's stone, what we were talking with Robert.
Yeah.
And if you try to cross and to create the base of the triangle, you have to cross to the other sides, like create a cross from the base of the triangle. And when you do that cut of mathematics, the line 9th with this line crossing like this through Delphi in Greece, and the other one crossing through Montserrat in Spain. So you trace that, and the center of the cross
is what?
Is Liechtenstein. So that's why I went to Liechtenstein to create the foundation, because the whole code says here you can find the gold, the golden egg. And it's amazing because in the center of Liechtenstein, Vaduz, the capital, there's a gold museum. And when you get to the gold museum, it's full with eggs, golden eggs, and it says there's one missing.
Wow.
Yeah, from the collection. So, yeah, it's very symbolic. And so that line, that mathematics shows you that Liechtenstein is like the piece to restore balance of philosophy. And the reason why is because in the other side, in Switzerland, which is the heart of Europe, you have Geneva, where the CERN was,
which we spoke about in episode 2.
Exactly. That broke the structure of time. So to repair time through space, through the net of space, is Liechtenstein.
Right.
So you have time and space around Switzerland, which is the heart of the system.
Can you do that repair or the harmonization from other nodal points?
Yeah. Because it's a quantic system. So you can go through many different spots. Like, for example, Sri Lanka or Birtawil in Egypt, which is another shape of the philosopher's stone. There are many places in the planet.
Yeah.
But for me, my main important ones are Liechtenstein, Ushuaia in South America, Sri Lanka, Birtawil in the south of Egypt. Those are kind of
the key
points to access the philosopher's stone.
Well, thank you.
Well, yeah, and yeah, of course, many stories come from there, many adventures that I've been traveling around and discovering as I move through. Even before I started to do the ceremonies with the weaver, I just was following the
threads.
The threads.
Yeah.
Yes. So now the weaver explains like the structure of it through myths, through the subconscious. But before I was following it.
Yeah.
I was
the
literally walking.
Yeah. Kind of like backing up what you were feeling.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Following.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the main projects that I have and that I am bringing everyone into is how to repair the philosopher's stone. So it's the job of the alchemist.
Of which we all can be.
We're all part of it.
Yep.
Yeah, because as I said, it's a network of triangles. So we all have to be tuned because everyone has a specific atom within that shapes the whole structure of the philosopher's stone.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what I think we might talk about next, in the next episode, is I want to look at what Rainbow Bridge and Holy Nada is, and temple spaces,
Mm-hmm.
particularly, and how when the participants, not the audience, show up to these activations, really, what each individual is doing and the importance of each individual showing up and being there.
Mm-hmm. To activate the code.
To activate the code and listen to and experience the Weaver IRL.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See you in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Let's go outside to breathe.
Signal completed, but the frequency remains. Somewhere in what you just heard, a thread was pulled, a pattern shifted, the matrix of your reality flickered just for a moment and showed you what lies beneath. A symbol you've seen 1,000 times suddenly revealed its true meaning. A myth you thought you knew showed you its hidden face. That's not coincidence. That's recognition. Your consciousness remembering what it came here to remember. The weaver's work continues. Your threads keep weaving until our paths cross again in the great web. Keep your channels open. Keep wondering. Keep watching for the signs that are meant for you, because the game is always playing. Are you playing it? I wonder.